back. Today, we're gonna move the cab back about a foot. I haven't liked the way it's been sitting, so we're gonna get that done. We're also gonna put some steps and those storage boxes that we talked about in the last video. What I'm gonna do is show you what's set up in the way I've got it now, and we've looked at lots of footage of this semi, and it's just not sitting right. It is just too far forward, meaning the cab, and I just can't get along with it. The hood does fit decent. The end of the hood gets to this point here on the body, but it's just not quite lining up. So here's what we're gonna do. If you look here, you can see where I've mounted this cab mount, and we're gonna push it back so that this bolt is sitting somewhere in here. So it's gonna come back almost a full foot. I think that's gonna make a better stance, and what it's gonna end up doing is requiring us to do some interesting modifications to the hood. The hood is gonna need to be extended that same amount. So the difference between a short hood Peterbilt and a long hood, depending on which hoods we're talking about, from my research is about 8 inches. So with what I've got in adjustment to push the hood back and what I've got with the gap between the body and the hood, once I move the body back, I think we're gonna be sitting close to that 8 inches. So let's go ahead and we're gonna move the body back. We'll get that done. We're gonna go ahead and relocate the cab mounts, and then we'll start worrying about the steps. Here we go. I've got the cab somewhat out of the way, pushed back, and now I'm gonna go and pull this mount off. Then I'll show you how I'm going to put it on here. We do have one problem, and that is where I want to put this cab mount is kind of right here, and this spring shackle's in the way. So I'm going to get creative on how I do that. Hopefully that works out okay. I think it'll be okay. So let's go ahead and take this off, and I'll kind of show you where we're at. One thing I am going to have to do is where this current mount is on the other side is part of the mount for the transmission and engine. So I'm going to have to lift up on the back of the transmission just a little bit, take the pressure off, get the bolts out, and put 4 bolts back in. So I'm going to do that as well as you're watching me do this. I just got done doing some stuff here and I forgot to push record. So here I'm going to show you again. So I went up this way 3 3/4 inch. I came over this way from the end here over to this point 4 1/4 inch. And then over here where I already cut, I just brought that line square this way. And what I'm doing now is I am cutting on this side of the line or this side of the line to give me just that little bit of a, I don't know if that's a 16th or an 8th, that marker line, so that if I need to, I can come back and get rid of it if that shackle's in the way, but I'd rather have the material than not. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna go on the inside here, and I'm gonna scribe a line with my grinder. So just regular grinder with a cutoff disc, and I'll come up real carefully. I want this to be as straight as I can make it, which means it won't be anywhere near perfect, which is fine. I'm not a professional machinist or anything, but I'll go and scribe that line, and if everything looks good, then I'll go and cut all the way through. But what that scribing does is it allows me to alter my line if I need to, if I get off or if something kind of gets a little goofy there on me. So here we go. So looking at it, I'm a little bit tight up here compared to here, but it's within a 64th or even more. I'm happy with that. That'll work. So I'll go ahead and cut that one through. I'm also going to do the same thing with this line. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, cut it through, get this chunk out, and we'll go see how it looks over on the frame. Going to peel it off. Again, it wasn't quite perfect. The two lines didn't line up between here 100%, but that's not a big deal. All right, so back over here at the frame, I'm going to go ahead and show you this thing, kind of mock it up a little bit. Then we need to figure out where to drill our holes. I'm going to do this one different than the first time I did it because I'm tired of drilling holes in my frame. What I'm going to do is I'm only going to do 2 holes. I think for now, that's enough to hold this cab and into the future until we figure out, you know, kind of more of what we're doing or get the frame finalized kind of a thing. Then I'll drill the rest of the holes. Plus, I'm doing all this old style with an actual drill, and I really want to get a mag drill. When it becomes a budget item in the monthly budget, then I'll come back and do more holes, and when we do the rear end, we'll have to do holes and just holes. But for now, I'm going to put the 2 holes in here, and I'll just kind of explain to you what I'm doing as I'm doing it. So here's our bracket, or here's our cab mount. So I'm going to put it here, and it's going to go right about here. I'm going to have to take this bolt out, but this is about where it's going to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark my 2 holes once I get that bolt out, make sure everything's flat or where it needs to be level this way, and we're going to put some more bolts in. So let's do it. So here's where the mount's going to go. I put it up and just kind of eyeballed it close, and then I marked the center of these holes with my marker. Now I'm going to come back, and I've got this preset so that I know where I'm at between this mark, which will be level to the frame rail, to here, and I want to make sure these match, that these 2 are the same, and then we can make sure they're the same on both sides, and away we go. So let's go ahead and see where we're at here. So here we're right at, let's see, 1, 2, 3.5 inches, almost dead on. So let's see if we can do the same thing over here. And I'm going to preset this one up a little different, just because I don't quite have as much room. So now, even though it says 6, the bottom of this here is going to be our 0. So here, if we count, we're at 1, 2, 3. So we're between 3/8 and half. So we've got to come down just a little bit. I'm just going to put it there. Now we're right on. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to drill my pilot holes, and I know exactly where I want to drill them now. So I can do my pilot holes, and then I can go ahead and drill the actual holes. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, we got our pilot holes drilled. A question came up in my mind while I was doing this, and I started thinking, do you guys use cutting oil or motor oil to do your holes, or do you just run them raw? Do you raw dog them? How do you do it? Let me know in the comments. Just kind of curious. This one I'm going to use 3 different drill bits, just to maybe make it easier on my drill bits. Probably does nothing, but makes me feel better. I just figured something out. If you don't keep it all the way on drill mode and keep it at the end, it won't try and rip your wrist and hand off when he catches. Now that we've got the cab pushed back just over 11 inches, let's go ahead and see how it looks with the hood down and check out this gnarly gap that we are going to have to deal with someday. That's going to be a future problem. I'm not messing with that now. We'll do that later. It'll be fun, body work. Who doesn't love that? Here we go. Let's just take a look, see what she says. Here it is. This here is what we did. You can see the notch around that spring shackle. I think that's going to be plenty strong to hold that. And then we'll put those other bolts in later, or bolt holes. And here, with the hood kind of shut, we can see our gap. So that's going to take some filling right here. Let's just take a look about where we're at measurement-wise. So that one there is giving us, well, it's under 10 inches, so interesting. Which isn't too bad because, like I said, I think I'll be able to get, I don't know, at least 2 to 4 inches out of adjustment from the front of the hood. So we'll just kind of see what happens and how that kind of pans out. So now that we've got the body where we want it for now, let's go ahead and start putting on these boxes. And let me show you those. So the boxes, one side's going to be used for batteries. The other side's going to be used for storage, whether it's chains, straps, I don't know, whatever truckers carry in their rigs. But here's this one. So this is a step and it's locked. This is a step and a box. This one's got the angle iron on it, and this is what's going to go on the passenger side. So I'm going to get this over to where we're going to mount it. And now that we've got the cab hopefully where it's going to stay, we're going to go and put the boxes on. Now, the thing with that is I'm still only going to do probably 2 holes. I don't know, maybe 4. We'll see. Just because if I move it again, I don't want to have to keep doing this and putting holes in my frame. But I think this is where it's going to live. I think this is the permanent spot. I don't see why it wouldn't be. So let's go ahead and get that started. I'm going to kind of get some stuff set up. And we need to figure out basically where in here we want to put it. Now, I have looked at a bunch of Pete's, and it didn't matter, 359, 379, whatever. Shoot, I've even looked at Kenworth's and some of that stuff to try to figure out where to put this. I think one crucial thing to consider is if we're going to run an exhaust pipe up here, which of course we are. Are you kidding me? That's going to look awesome. So I need to leave enough room here. Let me get a better view here. Here for an exhaust pipe. So my thought was maybe to line the edge of the box up, you know, just before this edge here or something. So I don't know. We'll just kind of play with it. But let's go ahead and get that box over here, mark it where we're going to drill the holes. And again, we're only going to start with 2 holes. And then we'll just kind of go from there. So hang tight, let me get some stuff set up and cleaned up, and we'll keep rocking and rolling. So I'm just going to kind of stick this up in the area-ish that I kind of think it might want to go. And then we'll see how she looks. Well, I found our first problem, this huge exhaust or this huge muffler is going to have to get out of the way, but we'll worry about that here in a bit. Well, that's not a horrible spot. What do you think? Look all right? I don't know. I think it needs to come this way some, but not a lot. Well, I think right about there looks good. We may end up having to go to the other side to mount it because I don't feel like messing with exhaust right now. I don't think, anyway. And how hard would it be to move that? Let me look. Well, certainly not impossible, but I still don't know if I want to mess with it. Either way, it's got to come off. Someday, I suppose, but let me think on it. I'll get back with you. After much deliberation, I thought to bring the issue on the exhaust to council for approval. We're a go, baby. So we're going to go ahead and cut this and see if we can't just move that muffler a little bit. And there is some newer piping up here, which is kind of why I decided, what the heck, let's cut her. And just get this kind of pushed over. The reason why I don't want to just lob it off yet is we're going to want it running again before we put the stacks on it. So might as well have a weed burner, at least for now. All right, let's get to cutting. Okay, we got it. Now, I may have to just adjust it a little bit over there. I'll do that after a while. All right, here where we at. I have a plan. So if you look here, sorry it's a little dark, there's 3 holes right here. Well, this one on the bottom conveniently lines up with this one. And it's pretty close to where I want to put it. So my thought is I'm going to waller out this hole, then we'll be able to put 1 bolt in, then we'll go to that side, figure out our height, drill a new hole, and that's what we're going to do. So you've already seen me drill some holes. I think we're good there. I'm going to go ahead and get this hole drilled. We'll run a bolt through it. This is going to take a bigger bolt as well than what we had with the cab mount. So I don't have a bit that much bigger, I don't think. So I might have to get creative and figure something out. But let's get this one drilled out and then start looking at the next one. We'll take some measurements, see what happens. All right, it's the next day. And I gave it a little break because I did a bunch of work on the other side, drilling and stuff that we're going to show you over here on this side. So basically what I did is I unhooked the bracketry on that box that you saw, or that we've been working on. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and copy it. I don't have that bracketry for the second box. So here's what we've got. Here's the bracketry that I pulled off, and here's the new stuff. Now, if you'll notice, that's 3/8, that's 1/4 inch. But I think that'll work. The metal shop did not have the 3/8 stuff, which I think will be all right. This is, I mean, really, really stout. So naturally, I'll put this on the driver's side because that's where I'll be, and I'm not light. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these ones into a template, and I'll get everything arranged proper, and I will mark each hole. We've got 5 total holes, the 2 mounting holes for the frame, and then the 3 mounting holes are the ones that go to the box. I'm going to go ahead and get that started. I'll show you the process. It's going to be kind of similar to what we did on the frame. It's going to be quick, easy. I'll show you a little bit of it, then I'm just going to get them done. Then I'll show you getting the box set up. Once we get these brackets taken care of, what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and put the brackets on the box. Then we'll put the box up on the frame, kind of where, not kind of, exactly where we want it. And then we'll go ahead and start drilling holes. Now again, I'm like 92% sure that this is where the cab's gonna stay. Where are you? You're right there. That's where the cab's gonna stay, and that's where the boxes are gonna stay. We've got to consider fuel tanks next, as far as mounting on the frame. So that's kind of where we're at, and I'm, again, pretty sure this is where its home's gonna be forever and ever. Amen. So let's go ahead and get started on getting these angle pieces mapped out, drilled out, and let's get this box mounted. I'm looking forward to this. Okay, so after the better part of the day, a bunch of pain, suffering, anguish, and every other horrible thing a person could imagine, when it comes to mounting or fabricating or any of that, I got my 2 pieces drilled out. Well, spent most of my day learning how to sharpen drill bits. And I sacrificed a $40 drill bit, but I did get it done. So of course I got to buy another one. Now I've got $80 in drill bits for a few lousy holes. What do you do? Anyway, let's see how we do. So I know you guys probably can't see this too good, but from my angle, it ain't bad. It ain't bad at all. And these we can work. So let me see. Immediate fail. I didn't drill my holes big enough. Did they fit in here? Fit in here, fit in here. So let me do more drilling, because that seems to be the thing I do around here. I think I just didn't get the right size on here, which isn't a big deal. You know, I love working on stuff, but sometimes what comes along with it is the patience learner of life. And even though this is frustrating and it gets kind of tough, when I get this thing done, it'll be worth every little bit. And I'm bringing you guys all along for the ride. So you get to see the good, the bad, with the ugly. So it's just part of it. And I'm pretty sure this drill bit's not going to work, but let's keep working at it. See what happens. All right. Well, so far so good. My devious plan appears to be working. So put this on. Now, all this stuff that's not painted and a little rough around the edges, stuff like that, most likely, I ain't promising nothing, so don't hold me to it. But most likely, we're going to take everything apart, paint, do everything right. We'll just kind of see. I definitely can't leave stuff like this bracket just, you know, there to rust, because that's exactly what it will do. So we'll just keep rocking and rolling. So I'm going to button these up, get the other bracket on, get this set on the jack, and I'll bring you back and we'll kind of see what we got to see to get this bad boy installed. All right, we're ready to go up with it. We'll line that bugger up, put a bolt in it, kind of go from there. So our muffler is in the way a little bit, but I think we're going to be all right. Stay. Okay, so I put that nut on there finger tight. Now what I'm doing, I don't know if you'll be able to see too well, but I'm going to kind of get this level between both sides, and we're pretty close. This one needs to go up. Now it needs to go down. So I'm going to put my thumb on there. This measurement I am not making perfect because I don't know if there's really a need to. If I'm off 1/8 inch, I think it'll be fine. But it's actually looking pretty good right there. So I'm going to go ahead and mark these other 3 holes, or 2 holes, I guess, so we can get those drilled and get this bugger on here. Awesome. Looks good though. I like the positioning here. I think we got plenty of real estate for mufflerage, and I think it's going to work out just fine. Let me grab a marker. Looking over that first mark I made over here, you guys can't see it, but it was a little off. Let it double check her. There, that's perfect. All right, I got the holes drilled. Now I didn't show you. I think you've seen me drill enough holes, okay? Okay? So, let's see what happens here. I'm already here. Okay, so we've got the one back on. Now, we're off a little bit on this side. Now let's see if that third hole is going to line up. Oh, well, I can see straight through it, so that's a good sign. Okay, we've got everything buttoned up. Moment of truth. Is it going to hold? Well, let's see. Not bad. I think that might just do it. All right, I'm going to go get the one on the other side buttoned up. We'll pull the truck out and walk around and check it out. Okay, I got her outside. And here she is in all of her glory. Still doesn't look like a whole heck of a lot of much, but we are making progress. And it looks pretty cool having some steps on it now. Step back a little bit, see what it looks like where the cab's at. I definitely think that looks much better. Well, thanks for checking it out. I'm pretty excited about this project. I'm going to keep moving forward on it. I don't know the order of these videos as far as if I'm just going to be doing semi. In fact, I know I won't just be doing the semi build because I've got another project I wanted to get started on and video while I'm doing it. So anyway, but This thing will keep continuing, and I'll probably start doing a little bit of stuff here and there off camera. Some stuff in the future for this thing is we've got to take care of that gap. That's just something that's got to be done. And we need to put fenders. We've got the lights. We need to put those on it. We need to get that kind of stuff done. And we also need to start getting kind of serious about thinking about wiring. I've got a lot of the stuff pulled off the bus. A little bit more yet that needs to come off, but that's going to be a little bit of a project. And then the steering too. Once we get those things done with the tanks mounted, there's no reason we can't start thinking about having this thing running and maybe even driving. It's a little bit out there down the road still, but something to start thinking about as we keep making progress. I know sometimes these projects are just little steps and don't seem like much, but it's got to be done. So I'm not sure what's in store for the next video on this, but we will look at the next project coming up in the next video. I'm gonna keep you hanging with that. Thanks a lot for checking it out. Really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys are getting something out of it. I am having fun making these videos, even though it makes everything twice as long. That's all right. It's kind of cool all the same. So thanks for hanging out. We'll see you on the next video.